All right, okay. Prynawn da. Croeso, good afternoon. Welcome to the Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council full council meeting on Wednesday, the 3rd of December, 2025. Apologies for accent, please. Anybody apologies for accents?
Rhagfyr, folks, and Gareth Lewis, Chair.
And I believe Andrew's running late. Did you say Geraint? Yeah?
Michelle Jones, got to have the chair. What did have it?
Councillor-
Was it Councillor Scribden?
Oh yeah, sorry. Councillor Jamie Scriven, please.
That's okay, thanks, Chair. Not so much an apologies, but I need to let you know I will need to leave at around 6:15 or 6:20 at the latest this evening.
Okay then, thank you. Okay. Councillor Lee Davis, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, same as Councillor Scrivens. I have to leave early, around about 6:20.
Okay then, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Declarations of interest. Members are reminded of their
Sorry.
person.
In Thomas, for example.
I'm not sure whether that's the declarations or whether it's for the previous.
It went up as we started this meeting.
Okay. Councillor Thomas, is your hand up for a declaration of interest or apologies for someone?
Sorry, Madam Chair. I put it up for declaration of interest as soon as I understand the word.
Okay. I'll just go through it and then members are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and prejudicial interest in respect of matters contained in this agenda in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government and Finance Act 1992 relating to council tax, the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Members' Code of Conduct. Members are reminded that they must identify the item number and subject matter that their interest relates to and signify the nature of the personal interest, and where members withdraw from a meeting as a consequence of the disclosure of a prejudicial interest, they must notify the chair when they leave. Okay. Any declarations of interest, please? Councillor Ian Thomas, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm a member of Bedlin Lewis Community Council, and with reference to item 7 on the agenda, council tax base, I have dispensation to speak and vote. And in relation to item 9, community review, I'm just declaring a straight interest as a member of that council.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Gillian Preston, please.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to be the same as Ian and declare an interest in 7 and 9.
Okay, lovely, thank you. Any further declarations of interest? No? Okay, then we move on to agenda item 3, minutes of full council on the 12th of 11th, 2025. These items are to approve and enter into the record the draft minutes of meetings previously circulated to committee members with a request to confirm accuracy. Do we have a mover, please?
Happy to move the minutes, Madam Mayor.
Do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to second those, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any comments on the accuracy of the minutes? Councillor Geraint Thomas, please. Councillor Geraint Thomas, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a problem then with the notification coming up on the screen as I was clicking on. Yeah, item 50, notice of question, member of the public. It's been a month now since the last meeting, so is there any update, Mountain Officer?
Yeah, okay. Councillor Thomas, can you put your camera on, please?
It is on.
It's not on, Councillor Thomas.
Hold on 1 second.
Madam Mayor, there's a number of councillors
I'm
that
sorry,
haven't pressed the camera to accept
Mayor,
after the recording went through.
Okay, can you press your camera after the recording started, please?
I'm on, the light is on.
There you are. There you are.
I'm on, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
well.
Sorry, do you want to repeat that? Sorry, Councillor Thomas.
Yeah, it's now a month has gone by since that question was asked in the last meeting. Have we got any update on it?
I have started to look into the issue, Councillor Thomas, and I will provide a full response now at the beginning of next week.
And I got a supplementary, Madam Mayor. It happened so fast in the last meeting, and it's very difficult when you're on Teams and we're not in the chamber. But I recall fielding a question from a member of the public in the chamber. So was there any reason why the member of the public couldn't ask the question directly to a cabinet member?
Don't have an answer to that, Chair.
I couldn't tell you, Councillor Thomas. I perhaps would look into that, Geraint, to find out. Geraint looks into that. Is that okay?
Yeah, because it's an important part of our constitution, and we must uphold our constitution.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thomas. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, lovely, thanks. Okay then, any further comments on the accuracy of the minutes? Councillor Ian Thomas, please.
Madam Mayor, it looks as if my camera is off on my top of my
You are now.
screen.
It is now. If you want to, sorry.
It was on camera, yeah.
Yeah, you were on camera. You've just gone off. Do you want to click it again?
Is anything happening?
No, you was on screen when I was talking to you, but then you disappeared.
Right. At the moment.
Oh, there you are. I got you now. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So no further comments. Okay, then we take that to the vote then.
Okay, so could all councillors who are in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? And if you could lower your hands, please. Okay, so could all councillors who are not in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hand? And any councillor who wishes to abstain, if they could raise their hand. So that's carried, Chair.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, then agenda item 4. Treasury Management Outturn Report 24-25. To consider the report of the Director of Finance, Councillor Anna Williams-Price, invite you to address the council, please.
Thank you, Chair. This report presents the Treasury Management Outturn for the financial year 24-25 in accordance with the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy Code of Practice and the Council's approved Treasury Management Strategy. It provides an overview of the Council's borrowing, investment activities and compliance with prudential indicators, ensuring transparency and accountability in managing public funds. I would like to draw your attention to 2 key factors that highlight our approach. Firstly, borrowing for local projects. The Council borrowed 80 million through long-term loans at competitive interest rates, and this allowed us to replace short-term borrowing and keep costs stable. By the end of the year, total borrowing was 176 million, within the limits approved by Council. And secondly, managing investments responsibly. The Council also invested money that was not to meet the need for spending, and these investments range between 10 to 50 million during the year, and our priority was to keep these funds safe and available when needed, rather than chasing high returns. This approach helps protect public money during a time of economic uncertainty. Overall, the Council followed all required rules and guidance, ensuring that public funds were managed responsibly, and the report provides more detail on performance, economic conditions, and how we plan to sustain this approach in future years. So I will move the recommendation, which is a 2.1 Treasury Management Outturn Report, including Treasury and Prudential Indicators for 24-25, be received and noted.
Do we have a seconder, please?
I second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any questions, please? No questions? Are there any comments then, please?
No.
No comments? We'll take that to the vote then, please.
Okay, so could all councillors who are in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? So if you could lower them, please. Could all councillors who are not in agreement please raise their hand? None. And if there's any councillor who wishes to abstain, can they raise their hand, please? None. That's carried.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 5, Treasury Management Mid-Year Report 25-26. To consider the report of the Director of Finance, Councillor Anna Williams-Price, could I invite you to address the council, please?
Thank you. Similarly to the previous report, this outlines the Treasury Management Outcome Report for the mid-year 25-26, which confirmed that the council managed its finances responsibly throughout and provides an update on performance for the first half of the 25-26 financial year. Again, it focuses on borrowing, investments and compliance with national guidance, showing how we continue to safeguard public money and support our local priorities. So focusing on the same key elements as the last report, I would draw attention to local priorities borrowing, which covered 27 million this year to fund essential projects, increasing slightly to 29 million due to work carried forward from previous financial year. By the end of September, total borrowing stood at 179 million, which remains within improved limits. And a short-term loan of 5 million was also taken, with plans to replace it with a longer-term loan when interest rates improve. In terms of investing safely, the council continues to invest money that was not immediately needed for day-to-day spending, with balances ranging between 10 and 40 million. And again, our focus is on keeping these funds safe and accessible when required. This careful approach helps protect public money and ensures stability as we move through economic uncertainty. And again, more details on performance, economic conditions and plans for the remainder of the year is included in the full report. So I will move the recommendation at 2.1, which is the Treasury Management Mid-Year Report, including Treasury and potential indicators for 25-26, be received and noted.
Do we have a seconder, please?
I second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, please?
No questions.
No questions. Do we have any comments then, please? No comments? Okay, then we'll vote then, please.
So could all councillors in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? Could lower the hands, please. So could all councillors who are not in agreement please raise their hands? And any councillor wishing to abstain, if they could raise their hand, please. That's carried.
Thank you. Agenda item 6, Revenue Budget 2025-26 Transformation Programme. To consider the report of the Director of Finance, Councillor Anna Williams-Price, I invite you to address the council next.
Thank you. This report explains how the council is meeting the savings target agreed as part of the 25-26 revenue budget, which was approved in March, and also outlines how this links to our wider transformation programme. The approved budget of £172.5 million included a savings target of £304,000 for this financial year. Meeting this target is essential to keep the council on track and allow the transformation programme to focus on longer-term savings for 26-27 and beyond. Savings will be achieved through budget amendments that do not affect frontline services, and these include reduction in temporary accommodation costs, adjustment to non-general fund allocations, and smaller changes to rent allowance and discretionary rate relief. Full details are provided in Appendix 1. These changes form part of the first phase of the Council's transformation programme, which aims to improve services and strengthen financial resilience. By addressing the immediate savings requirement now, the programme can concentrate on delivering more significant changes in future years. And the report confirms that these proposals meet the full savings requirement for the 25-26 financial year. And more detail on the transformation programme and its role in shaping future budgets is included in the full report. So I will move the recommendation, which is a 2.1. The budget proposals outlined in Section 4 and Appendix 1 be approved.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder, please?
I second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any questions then, please? No questions? Do we have any comments then, please? No comments? Then we move it to the vote then, please.
So all councillors in agreement with the recommendation, please raise their hands. Could lower them, please. Okay, could any councillor not in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hand? And anyone who wishes to abstain, please raise their hand. Thank you, that's carried, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 7, council tax base for 2026-27. To consider the report of the Director of Finance. Councillor Anna Williams-Price, I invite you to address the council, please.
Thank you. And the final report from my portfolio this evening sets up the council tax base for 26-27, which is our starting point for calculating council tax for the coming year. It's a legal requirement and ensures that both the council and precepting authorities, such as the Community Council and South Wales Police, have the information they need to plan their budgets. The council tax base represents the number of property in the county borough, adjusted for discounts, exemptions and other factors, expressed as Band D equivalents. This calculation is essential for setting the council tax and for determining the funding for public services. So for the county borough, the proposed council tax base is 18,964.91, an increase from 18,898.13 in the current year. For the Bedlinog and Trelewis Community Council area, figure is 1,189.52 compared to 1,191.20 in last year. And these changes reflect updates to the property valuation list and expected adjustments during the year. And therefore, I will move the recommendation, which is a 2.1, taking into account the number of properties in each valuation band, discounts, reductions for disabilities, and future changes in the valuation list. The following resolution be approved. That pursuant to this report and in accordance with the local authorities' calculation of council tax base and council tax prescribed class of dwellings, Wales Amendments Regulations 2004, the number calculated by the Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council for 2026-27 shall be 18,964.91, 18,898.13, 25-26, and for the area covered by the Bedlinog and Trelewis Community Council for 2026-27 shall be 1,189.52, 1,191.20, 25-26.
Do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do you have any questions then, please? Councillor Lisa Mitten, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Happy for cabinet member or officers to answer it, but previously, normally I'd say under the independent administration, but I think we were all vocally in support of it. But we wrote to the minister at the time, Rebecca Evans, regarding and had promises as well regarding council tax reform, and I just wondered whether we were still pursuing that. Inevitably, we may have a new programme for government and a new government in May, and I appreciate that. But are we still putting pressure on that we should still have council tax reform? Because Merthyr Tydfil, you know, with its very sad areas of deprivation, pays higher council tax than a lot of properties in very affluent areas throughout Wales, namely Vale of Glamorgan, areas of Cardiff, etc. And so I think it's really important that we collectively keep on airing those views and those concerns that we are desperate for council tax reform from our government. I just wondered if we were still pursuing that, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mitten. Who wants to answer that, please? Shall I come in? Yes, please.
Thanks, Councillor Mitten. So from my perspective, I completely agree. We know we have the highest Band D equivalent rate in Wales, which is not sustainable or fair for our residents. As you also know, there was a proposal from Welsh Government about what council tax reform could look like and how to make progress on that. There was concern from Welsh councils and WLGA about the pace of change, so that was delayed until 2028. But I'm not sure if Mark is online to perhaps give a further update on where we're moving ahead with that. Apologies if he's not, just put on the spot.
Okay, is Mark online?
Yes.
Okay, lovely.
In answer to your question, Councillor Mitten, that there's been a number of changes and consultations that have taken place in 25 regarding amendments to council tax. Several of them are going to come into effect on the 1st of April 2026, looking at exemptions, disregards and discounts. With regard to the reform that you make in reference to and the actual council tax banding, nothing has been formalised at this particular point in time other than it has been agreed, regardless of the makeup of the Senedd, that the council tax review will take place, rebanding, beg your pardon, will take place on the 1st of April 2028. The antecedent date for that will be 1st of April 27, so we should see significant movement with regard into the charging structure throughout the next financial year to see how that is going to look, and then we should be able to formulate a response and answer how that's going to affect our residents.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. May I just come back to Mark there, Madam Mayor? Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for that. I mean, inevitably, we're only sort of now 2 years away from 2028. Thank you for noting that a lot of that evidence will be submitted over the next sort of year or so. Do we envisage it being sort of a fair and equitable rebanding? Because my only other concern is, and I guess we just have to convey this collectively, all 30 of us really, that, you know, it has to be fair for areas like Merthyr Tydfil in comparison to other properties, as I said, within more affluent areas. And I really would urge that we all do that and sign up to that.
In answer to your question, I really don't know. There was a number of models that were actually put forward, some that you may have actually seen and yourself regarding just one band or additional several bands, higher and lower. It is kind of difficult, you know, to comment without knowing, you know, what is going to be coming our way. You know, for Merthyr, you are correct. You know, we have a significant number of properties in the lower banding, band A, band B. About 70% of our tax base fall within that. The only positives that I can actually give you at this particular point in time, for those, we are seeing a trend in the number of new dwellings that, you know, are being built within Merthyr, and there's a significant number of them are being brought in bands D and E. You know, just to give you a pointer on that, I've seen 14 properties that have come up, have been officially banded since this report was written on the 5th of November, you know, 10 of which are in band D and E. So that is, you know, significant positivity, you know, looking at, you know, when this particular report is actually put before council, when we actually set a council tax base. But with regard whether it was fair and equitable, that's going to be Welsh Government's decision and not, you know, that myself as a revenue officer.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Geraint Thomas, please.
Yeah, I think Mark almost answered the full question I was going to ask him there in his last comment. Because, you know, we can see now some serious building around in Merthyr Tydfil, down on the site at the Hoover site, the Dragon Park site, up in Toyne. You know, there's the wine barn development as well on the Swansea Road. So there's going to be quite a few more houses coming in to the council tax bracket, I would imagine, in the next 6 months. So, Mark, how much do you think, or how far do you think you envisage that increasing?
It is a guesstimate, you know, and you know, to what we would see officially banded. We have had issues which have reported to various committees over the last several months with the valuation office and the delays in bringing properties into official banding. You know, just to give you an example, that, you know, currently I've got 83 properties with provisional bans on. But in answer to your question, my guesstimate for those that I believe will be actually officially rated, you know, by this time next year is an additional 98 properties to where we are currently. You know, so the report is indicating that, here that there's 27,627 officially banded properties, you know, as at the 5th of November. As we speak today is 27,641. So, you know, by this time next year, I'm expecting, you know, at least 100 additional properties to be officially banned in, and based on the sites that you were actually making reference to, that they are going to be coming in C's, D's and E's, which is, as I've indicated earlier, is positive to when the tax base is going to be calculated next year.
Thank you, Mark. Councillor Thomas, okay? Any more questions then, please? No? We'll move on to comments then, please. Any comments? No? We'll move on to the vote then, please.
So was all councillors in agreement with the recommendation, please raise their hands. Okay, so lower your hands, please. Could all councillors not in agreement please raise their hand? And could any councillor wishing to abstain please raise their hand? None. That's carried.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 8, corporate self-assessment 2024-25. To consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Declan Salmon, I invite you to address the council, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The corporate self-assessment 2024-2025 report, which is written by Andrew Mogg for the various teams across from the organisation, has been presented to the Sustainable Initiative Scrutiny Committee on the 18th of November and the Governance and Audit Committee on the 24th of November, and was presented to Cabinet earlier this afternoon. The local authority has a duty to publish a report whose purpose is to regularly review through self-assessment how well the local authority is. 1, exercising its functions effectively. 2, how it's using its resources economically, efficiently and effectively. And 3, that there is effective governance. Everyone here knows how difficult it is currently in local government, not least because of limited resources, but we must find a way of working together for better outcomes for our residents, with staff, local communities and elected members. Going forward, we need to be more effective, efficient and economic. There's just one recommendation, right, Madam Mayor, it's 2.1, the corporate self-assessment report 2024-2025 be approved. So move.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder, please?
Have a second.
Thank you. Okay, any questions then, please? Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This question is on page 21 of this actual report, page 16.9 on the papers in total. And it's the 4th paragraph down, and I need to read it. It says, the Young People's Participation Service ensures that young people are provided with the opportunity to influence and shape the services that affect them in line with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. The Youth Mayor and Deputy Youth Mayor are members of the Youth Cabinet. During 24-25, Youth Cabinet Support Service lost a member of staff whose role was to support the Cabinet. This has meant that there was no capacity to deliver on this planned action during this period. The Council continues to explore ways to actively support this activity. So my question, Madam Mayor, is has that question of the loss of a member of staff now been rectified? And if not, how do they support the Young People's Participation Service?
Okay, who's going to answer that, please? Is anybody going to answer the question?
Madam Mayor, if I come in there, I can't see anybody from the relevant service online with us this evening. So if we can get that clarified and come back to Councillor, if that's okay, and we obviously will circulate the answer to the rest of Council as well.
Yeah, that's fine now, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
I've got another question, and this is on page 41 of the report, page 89 of the total papers, sorry, page 88. And it's on there's 6 blocks there on the bottom right-hand side. It's heading, bringing empty properties back into use. It refers to the 23-24 figure of 7.3% of empty private sector properties were brought back into use through direct action with the local authority. This increased to 8% in 24-25. I.e. percentages are fine, but Madam Mayor, but I'd like to know the number of properties that we brought back into use. And it is a request if we get the same report next year. Can we put the percentage in? But I'd like to know the numbers as well.
You can answer that.
Madam Mayor,
Unless-
unless another officer can, oh, sorry, I'll defer to the director. Apologies.
Sarah
Yeah,
King, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Yes, I think that was raised at the scrutiny committee, so we've taken on board that for future years. We'll ensure that there are relevant numbers in terms of the percentages, but we can certainly get that figure to the councillor anyway, for the figure in the report.
And all the other councillors, Madam Mayor.
And all the other councillors, is that okay?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. Okay, Geraint Thomas then, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Mine's in line with Clive's first question. I think the youth mayor is supported by a third sector organisation, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Who are they?
Safer Merthyr.
And didn't we give them quite a good rate, a good uplift in money last year?
Who's going to answer this, please?
I don't. I'm not sure if my camera's on. The Safer Merthyr Tydfil have struggled with staffing, so I think that's with actually the number. They've had a number of staff in post, but staff have then actually left. So I think that might be some of the concern here, that staff have been appointed, but staff have left. So I think, as Lisa put in the chat, she'll pick it up with Chris Hole. But yes, we do give it to Safer Merthyr Tydfil, but I know they've had problems with staff recruitment.
But I think sorry, Madam Mayor, I think such an important role. We've got to make sure a part of the SLA that post is filled.
Thank you. Councillor David Hughes, please.
I think Councillor Thomas said what I was going to say. I think that's a very important post, and if we pay in that money out, we should be having service given us. So if we can ask them to get that in place.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hughes. Any further questions then, please? No? Any comments then, please? No comments? I'm sorry, Councillor Salmon.
Sorry, Madam Mayor. Just quickly to thank Andrew Mogford and the various teams from across the organisation for putting it all together.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam Mayor, could we go on the last report, Safer Merthyr, whatever, I'm a board member of Safer Merthyr. Are we declaring interest, or is this an only debate?
Do you want to declare an interest?
Well, sure, just in case.
I'm on myself. Madam Mayor.
Is that a personal and prejudicial?
I'm on board.
You're on board, thank you.
We don't.
Okay.
They need to leave.
Yeah.
Are you leaving?
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, there's no issues because I was safe if there wasn't in the room. So I think it was just what
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's just get comments if there's any comments made in regards to Safer Merthyr. Okay, a comment from Councillor Ian Thomas then, please.
I'm voting. Then elect and spoken.
Sorry, Madam Chair. I raised my hand by mistake there.
Sorry. Thank you. Okay, let's take to the vote then, please.
So could all councillors in agreement with officer's recommendation please raise their hand? Okay, thank you. If you could lower your hands, please.
Yeah.
If any councillor not in agreement, please raise their hand. And any councillor wishing to abstain, please raise their hand. That's carried, Madam Mayor.
Okay then, agenda item 9, community review under the Local Government Democracy Wales Act 2013. To consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Declan Salmon, sorry?
Preston and
Right, Councillor Jamie Scrivens, please.
Councillor Preston and Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do apologise. I'm going to have to leave earlier. I'll have to come off now, I will. So I'll see you all soon.
Okay then, thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Councillor Preston, you and Councillor Thomas, you declared both a personal and prejudicial interest in relation to this one, so you need to leave. No.
Yes.
That was in relation to back to
Yes, but you've got to leave because you have
Switch your camera
Switch your cameras off, yeah? Thank you. Okay. Agenda item 9. Community review. I've read that part, didn't I? Consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Declan Salmon. Can I ask you to address the council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The community review under the Local Government Democracy Wales Act 2013 report has been written by Anne Taylor and follows the full council decision to agree the terms of reference, along with the proposed timetable for the community review between 15th of September and 3rd of November this year. It also goes into much detail on the proposals and the reasoning behind them. Following the initial publicity, only one formal response was received, but one of the ward members has asked for in-person consultations, which may help with participation numbers and feedback from the public, and this request is reflected in the recommendations within the report. The community review proposes the following. 1, that the existing ward structure for the Bedlinog and Trelewis Community Council remain unchanged. 2, that the number of elected representatives for the Bedlinog Community Ward be reduced from 4 to 3. That the Trelewis Community Ward continue to have 5 elected representatives. And 4, that there is no change to the name of the Bedlinog and Trelewis Community Council. Go straight to the recommendations, Madam Mayor. There's 2. There's a few. There's 3. 2.1, the draft recommendations at Appendix 1 on the community review be approved. 2.2, the draft recommendations form the basis of a second phase of the consultation in accordance with the requirements of the Act. And 2.3, the second phase of the consultation include visits to the Bedlinog Community Centre and the Trelewis Community Centre to provide an opportunity for residents and interested stakeholders to participate in person. I so move.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to move, Madam Mayor. Second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions then, please? Michelle Simmons, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do have, I'm not sure if that's okay.
It's okay.
My first question. So in the first consultation, the first set of questions were quite unfriendly to understand what exactly the consultation was asking for. So is there going to be a change in those questions for the second phase?
I believe Anne Taylor is on board who may be able to.
Hi.
I am.
Hi. Yes. Yes. What we were hoping was the first phase of it is very much you give the legal connotations, the legal reasons behind everything. And I think the first phase of these boundary reviews are often quite difficult to get to grips with. I think the second phase now, yes, we will be asking them in slightly different way because we're asking specifics. You know, this is what we're proposing. Are you in agreement with it? And these are the reasons why we're asking it. And we're also hoping that when we do this face-to-face, having a conversation with somebody will make things far easier to understand, because if they don't grasp something, then we can explain it to them and understand exactly what we mean.
Lovely. Thank you, Anne. So in the second phase of the consultation, the dates proposed are between the 8th and the 29th of December. Obviously, we're going into such a busy time. How much notice are we going to have with those dates? And do you have those dates, or when can we anticipate to have them, please?
So the original dates were included in the original terms of reference that were agreed at the previously. What we're going to do now is we're waiting for this to be agreed tonight, and as soon as this was over, tomorrow morning, that was going to be our first task. If this was approved tonight, tomorrow morning we would be getting in touch with the community councils, the community council and the community centres and the local ward councillors to arrange dates, and we'll do that as soon as we possibly can, as early in the month as we possibly can.
Thank you, Anne. If residents are unable to make those face-to-face meetings, is there an opportunity for them to submit them in writing like there was for the first phase, please?
Absolutely, yes. There'll be an option to submit questions and concerns online, but also what we'll do when we come down to speak to people face-to-face, we'll leave some forms down there for them to complete if they wanted to fill a paper form in. Brilliant,
thank you. And my last kind of question, with the proposed reduction in community councillors from Bedlinog from 4 to 3, when will that change come into effect? Are we looking at our next round of local elections, which will be 2027?
Yes, that would come in for 2027. No change would happen until then.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne. Any further questions then, please? No? Any comments then, please?
Just quickly, following on from Michelle's comments, it may be worthwhile maybe for our comms department before it goes out to consultation to liaise with the ward members and the community council to make sure that wording is not so unfriendly.
That would be really
thank you. And then last comment then is thank you very much to Anne for putting together the report.
Okay, thank you. We'll take it to the vote then, please.
So could all councillors who are in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? If you could lower your hands, please. All councillors not in agreement, please raise their hand. And any councillor wishing to raise their hand. And that's carried, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Just need councillors present and Thomas to rejoin.
Right. Maybe. Yeah. Can you rejoin then, please? Councillor Preston, Councillor Thomas. Thank you. Okay. Agenda item.
Sorry, Sarah's got to have one.
Sarah.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, can I just refer back to the question that Councillor Jones raised? I just wanted to confirm that the number of long-term empty properties brought back into use in 24-25, the 8% relates to 43 properties, Councillor. Thank you.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, agenda item 10. Waste and Resource Strategy for Merthyr Tydfil 25 to 2030. To consider the report of the Director of Neighbourhood Services, Councillor David Jones. Could I invite you to address the Council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before I present the report, could I ask members to go to page 212 on outsourced services? The last part of that sentence needs to be removed, such as the Leisure Trust. That needs to be removed from the report. Thank you. This report seeks full council approval of the new waste management strategy that has been developed with the support of RAP Cymru and local partnerships. The current waste strategy was adopted in 2015 and was a 10-year blueprint to enable us to meet Welsh Government waste recovery targets up to 70% in 2024-25. However, the most recently published data shows that we have failed to meet the 70% target for 2024-25, and hence the need for a new strategy that will get us to the required 70%. A public consultation was carried out from the 11th of August to the 26th of September 2025, and the new strategy was also scrutinised by the Thriving Scrutiny Committee on the 4th of November 2025. 5 strategic objectives have been developed to align with the global, national and local context, and these are shown in 4.2 of the report on page 199 and throughout Appendix 1. The objectives are to prevent waste, to increase reuse and repair, increase recycling to beyond 70%, decarbonisation of waste services, and finally, infrastructure or waste sites, recycling centres and vehicles. From the work and local partnerships and on the available evidence, these should enable us to hit the 70% target for the future. Subject to questions and comments, I move the recommendation at 2.1 that the new waste and resource strategy for Merthyr Tydfil for 2025 to 2030 be approved. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Before I go to the seconder, Judith, did you want to come in?
Yeah, can I just ask clarification? Councillor Jones, you asked to remove something on page 212?
It's item 4, outsourced services.
Yeah.
The last part of it, such as the Leisure Trust. I believe it comes in a separate report.
That section of the report is just a copy of the decarbonisation plan objectives. So obviously when the decarbonisation plan was approved by council in 2023, that was correct. So it's kind of just repeating what's in the decarbonisation plan. So it is accurate in that respect, I suppose, is what I'm saying.
Well, if it's looking that far backwards, then happy for it to stay in there.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a seconder then, please?
Happy to second report, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Can we move to any questions then? Councillor Jones?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. My first question is on page 7 of this report and on the page 209. Halfway down the page, it's headed towards zero waste Wales. Second paragraph down from that. By 24-25, Welsh local authorities must achieve a 70% recycling rate or face financial penalties of £200 for every tonne under this target. The potential cost of Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council, based on our recycling rate for 23-24, in brackets 64.3, is around 292,000. First of all, my first question there is, it mentions 24-25. What is the figure for 24-25? Because that was the rate there is 66.24. So is that figure updated or is it still the same, 292,000?
Okay.
Afternoon, Councillor Jones. These figures obviously are a little bit behind because as of 24-25, we haven't had the percentage yet. We are
right.
We get them this week, so we were hoping to have them today so that we could have mentioned them tonight, but we haven't had them today, but they are due to be published this week, so we'll know then where exactly we are. Early indications, which is not verified yet by Waste Data Flow, is that we're a little bit above the figure quoted in the report.
So, Madam Mayor, if the figures are imminent, could they be circulated to all the council members so we have a bang-up-to-date figure, please?
Yes, definitely. They as soon as they're out and published and we get them, we can send them around. They will be on the website as well if anybody wants to look on a daily basis to try and see them.
Okay, and in connection with that particular paragraph, and it has been confirmed in the report on page 198, the overarching report, top of the page. And that refers to the recently published data shows we failed to meet the 70% Welsh Government waste recovery target, with our household recycling rate for 24-25 being 66.24. Confirm the need for a new strategy to get us to 70%. So we've accepted the fact that we won't reach the 70% by the 31st of March next year. So whatever the figure is, under the heading towards zero waste, are we likely, because I understand the Welsh Government has stressed this, if we don't reach that 70%, this council will have to pay the fine?
Who's going to answer, please?
Yes,
Alderman
a
Dickerson.
fine will be made to Merthyr Council if we don't reach the target. Well, that's the early indications. Although myself and the strategy team have worked with, and Judith have worked with Rap Cymru and Welsh Government since 2024, September, October-ish, meeting weekly basis, trying to get obviously the strategy through, trying to look at different things for decarbonisation, trying to look at all waste in general. We are trying to do everything that they are recommending to get to the figure. So hopefully, with all the work we are doing with them and the close contact we've got with them now, it'd be frowned upon if we accept this new strategy and then we are fined for doing everything that we've been asked to do.
Okay. My next question, Madam Mayor, is on page 211 of the papers, page 9 of the report. And it's under the heading, the emissions trading scheme. And the two paragraphs there, halfway down the first paragraph, from 2028, waste incinerators will have a restriction on total emissions emitted from local authorities. Currently, non-recyclable waste sent to the Trident Park Energy from waste facility from Merthyr Tydfil contains fossil-based materials and will be affected by these new regulations. And this is the paragraph that I think struck me. If current recycling rates remain unchanged and waste minimisation effects are not increased, the estimated cost to Merthyr Tydfil could rise from 400,000 per year in 2028 to around 586,000 per year by 2035. However, achieving our recycling and waste reduction targets could lower this cost to 194,000 by 2035. And there are other figures quoted that if we've, on average, in the wheelie bins, 52% of what goes in there is recyclable, and an extra 30% is food waste. So, am I right in saying, unless we get a real grip with the domestic properties that are not recycling, and still in this day and age, putting food waste in there, we will reach those staggering figures I've just quoted?
Yes, Councillor, I agree with you entirely. That's why we're doing a massive campaign at the moment for advertising. We're also interviewing tomorrow for 10 extra wardens to go out on the streets on a funded basis. So hopefully over the next 2 years, hopefully with us knocking nearly every door in the Merthyr Borough, giving everybody what they need to do to recycle and explaining to them and advising them. Hopefully our target, our percentage will go up, our rate will go up, and we'll get all that recycling out of the bin, or the majority of it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wish all the staff well.
Okay, definitely, Councillor Jones. Councillor Geraint-Thomas, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Because I did have a concern about the staff that's currently looking into bins, because it's clear to everybody that the answer to the problem is getting that food waste out of the black bin into the recycling bin. It's clear. And I was concerned with the report that's coming, next, that we could be losing those staff and they could be a threat. But Paul mentioned, yeah, we possibly have another 10 coming online. So how are they going to be funded?
At the moment, we've got the... Chris, can you answer this?
Yeah,
please?
no problem. None of our staff in Waste Services, Councillor Thomas, are being made redundant or anything like that. We currently have 4 recycling wardens out there that check the bins, and 2 recycling advisors are on a campaign at the moment, which will join in April. We are recruiting another 4 wardens, which have been interviewed for tomorrow, and this is coming out of the EPR fund, the packaging regulations money. So that is secured money for Waste Services based on packaging recycling. So that's where the money's coming from.
It's the same money that we're using for the advertising campaign on the radio, yeah?
Yes, Councillor Thomas,
Yes,
that's
correct.
correct. That's correct.
Correct, Councillor.
Okay. Well, that was, I've really allayed one of my fears there, because I was really concerned that we were going to lose those staff. So thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Lisa Mitten, please.
Madam Mayor, it's just to let the monitoring officer know I was thrown out to Teams and come back in, so I heard most of the debate but not all of it, so therefore I can't vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mitten.
Thank you. Okay, any comments then, please? Councillor Jones, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Further on in the report, page 219, it refers to the clinical waste collections. And as you know yourself, Madam Mayor, been on the scrutiny committee, we've asked about the situation with disposable nappies and clinical waste, which are also going into the black bins at the moment. And we've asked repeatedly that they receive a separate collection. I understand that there are issues about the cost of that, but there's 8 or 9 councils throughout Wales have been doing a separate collection, such as RCT Council right on our doorstep. So my view is that if we can, if possible, at some time, tie up with RCT Council to collect the disposal of nappies and clinical waste, there will be even less than 18% going into the black bins. And I look forward to that day very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments then, please? Sorry. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just like to thank Paul, Christian and all the rest of the staff for a very comprehensive report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll take to the vote then, please.
Okay, so could all councillors in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands?
Excuse me. Thank you.
Okay, could lower your hands, please. If any councillor not in agreement, please raise their hand. And could any councillor wishing to abstain, please raise their hand. That's carried, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay then, agenda item 12 is an information report only. Oh, sorry.
11.
Oh, I missed.
Listen to training report.
Oh, are you? Sorry. Agenda item 11. Issuing of S.188 letter to trade unions to consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources. Councillor Declan Salmon, can I invite you to address the council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As elected members will be aware, the Shared Prosperity Fund, or SPF, will cease from March 2026, and a new local growth fund is set to be introduced from April 2026. Unfortunately, we don't know how the local authority is allowed to allocate the money from the new local growth fund, which is hugely disappointing and comes as a massive blow for up to 128 employees who are all doing a fantastic job across many service areas in the council. The Shared Prosperity Fund is a UK-wide programme, therefore it will cease for all local authorities, and they will likely be as affected as much by this as Merthyr County Borough Council is going to be. Because of the uncertainty around the new local growth fund, and to address the financial sustainability of the council, we have no option other than to issue a Section 188 letter to trades unions so that the local authority can engage in meaningful consultation before any proposals for change are implemented. All options for SPF staff will be considered by a group or one-to-one consultations with staff and trade union representatives. The report here tonight goes into much detail on the timeline of events associated with the Section 188 letter and along with the local authority's responsibilities and how it engages with staff, unions and the Secretary of State. The Council will be launching proposals for consultation over the coming months if and when redundancies are proposed. The trade unions will be fully involved in every stage of the process. As I mentioned earlier, this comes as a blow to a great number of our staff and will be a worrying time for all of them. And I'm sure everyone here will want the details of the new local growth fund made public as soon as possible so we can do what's best for our staff. I'm going to go to the recommendations, Madam Mayor. 2.1. Consultation with the recognised trade unions in relation to affected SPF staff be approved. 2.2, the issuing of a Section 188 letter on the 4th of December 2025, which is attached Appendix 1, so as to legally protect the Council be approved. 2.3, the notification of the Secretary of State for Business and Trade on the Form HR1 of the potential voluntary redundancies / compulsory redundancies be approved. 2.4, delegated authority is given to the Chief Executive in consultation with the Leader of the Council, and in his absence, the Deputy Leader to issue further Section 188 notices as required be approved. And 2.5, delegated authority is given to the Chief Executive in consultation with the Leader of the Council, and in his absence, the Deputy Leader to consider alternative options that may be raised by the trade union consultation group to mitigate redundancies be approved.
Do you have a second, Ellen?
I so move for this. I so move for that.
Madam Mayor, I'll be seconding the recommendations 2.1 to 2.5.
Yes, thank you. Do we have any questions then, please? Councillor Geraint-Thomas, please.
Madam Mayor, unfortunately, we're here again. I've been in Councillor Salmon's chair doing this, and it's not a pleasant place to be. But when we've done this in the past, there's been 3 recommendations.
Sorry.
Sorry, something clicked in then on my computer. I'm sorry. I've taken 3 recommendations: 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. But I've never taken 2.4 and 2.5. Why are they in there?
Madam
Mayor, would you like me to come in there?
Yes, please.
So when we were crafting this report, Councillor Thomas, we looked back at the previous reports we'd taken, and actually there was a delegation given back in the 2015 report, but whilst that delegation was given to the Chief Exec in consultation with the Leader, in the same way as set out here, it's never been enacted. So we've still brought it to Council every time since. Now, where that's left us is in terms being from a timeline perspective, other authorities do this in a different way. So they operate under a delegation and engage with the trade unions, which obviously all this is to engage with the unions with that formal letter. It's not taken away from Council. It's just that mandate to be able to engage with the unions and issue the 188 letter. So whilst other authorities, some authorities have obviously they're at different stages. But some have already engaged with their trade unions and engaged with their staff. Others are still waiting. But we've obviously, the difference for Merthyr is because of the custom and practice, because that since that 2015, the delegation is there, but it hasn't been enacted. We bring it to council. So the logic for us putting in here again was to reiterate and reaffirm from council that delegation. So going forward, we would just be able to engage with the unions direct. Obviously, that wouldn't mean that we're not updating councillors in terms of what's going on. It's just we wouldn't be affected with a council timeline in order to engage with the unions and issue a 1-8 date should we need to. Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying, Ellis. I hear what you're saying. But, you know, I've got the 2024 report 118 in front of me, and it doesn't make anything for the delegation. It was something before any independent administration. But during, I believe, all the time of the independent administration, when we've brought these notices, we've never had those recommendations in there. So, you know,
no, that's absolutely right. So that's what I'm saying. So back in 2015, the delegation was given. So the delegation actually exists already. But what we've done as custom and practice, and the monitoring officer may want to come in and explain further if needed. We've always brought it to council, but the delegation actually exists. So what we wanted to do tonight was to reaffirm that delegation. So going forward, potentially we can just engage with the unions as required to issue a 1-8 date. Because, you know, as I'm saying, it's not going to stop us not engaging with councillors in terms of the process and what we're doing. It just allows us to, where required, to initiate timelines. We could issue that 1-8 date as other authorities do across Wales.
I just find it strange. You know, I'm happy. You know, I'm happy to support the notice of the 118, but I'm unhappy to support the 2.4 and 2.5. So for me, I'd like to make an amendment and take those out, Ellis, if you don't mind, Monitoring Officer, Madam Mayor.
Well, are you moving that amendment, Councillor Thomas?
I am. So we just approve recommendations 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3.
Second amendment.
Councillor Andrew Barry, please.
Just to support what Ellen's saying, I mean, the delegation takes it away from councillors, but there's nothing in the recommendations that says, as you've alluded to, Alice, that it comes back to council to keep councillors informed. So I think it's better we just take it out, to be honest.
Your second.
So you seconded it, Councillor Barry.
I'll absolutely second that. Yes, thank you.
So we get 2 seconds.
Yes, because second, so the amendment goes up first. So the amendment is the 3 recommendations without 2.4 and 2.1. Right. We'll vote on the amendment.
Yeah, we're going to vote on the amendment. We're clear on that, yeah?
Questions or comments first?
There's no questions and comments on the amendment. Yeah, so we're going to go to questions on the amendment then, okay? So we got Councillor Lisa Mitten.
Thanks. Just for Ellis, for the Chief Executive, would it then suffice, El, rather than, you know, not having all the recommendations, but adding, thinking of what Geraint just said, adding a 5th recommendation that subsequent to union, delegation, etc., then that it comes to full council, just so there's that democratic clarity in there regarding that. That may be an easier way around it. I'm not sure.
I mean, that's a matter for members, obviously, what they're comfortable in terms of taking forward. But obviously, what we were trying to convey as officers is that Merthyr is currently operating in a different setup to other authorities in terms of having to bring that action of issuing a 188 letter to council. But I just stress, obviously, the delegation does exist. We wanted just to reaffirm that delegation because it hasn't been used since 2015 when it was given. So that was the logic behind it. But Monitoring Officer, sorry, I don't know if you want to give any further clarity in terms of options for that suggestion by Councillor Mitten.
No, I mean, I understand where Councillor Mitten's coming from. I mean, the whole purpose of the delegated authority is basically to speed the process up. and it will also put us in line with other local authorities within Wales. But I think the question has been answered, raised by Councillor Mitten. So I want to see if there are any further questions.
Yeah. Any further questions on the amendment then, please?
Madam Mayor? I think Councillor Geraint-Thomas is maybe just worried that elected members aren't kept updated on the process, and that it would slip under the radar and they wouldn't be fully involved.
Okay.
In knowing. I think that's.
So how do we reassure that if they want an amendment? Councillor Carter?
Yeah, just quickly, and it's obviously not a question, just commenting. In terms of this, and under no circumstances would I like to see this authority put under the spotlight when all the other authorities aren't, and there's a potential that it could be. It definitely speeds up the process of engagement, and I can assure you, Councillor Thomas, that as soon as something happens, a full communication would come out to all members immediately if we had to go down those lines going forward in the future.
Okay, so we've had the questions. I can see Geraint's hand up. But is this a comment, Ger?
Really to answer what Councillor Carter just said, really, my concern is we don't want to be seen as a council to abdicate our responsibility, and it's the council that should be making the decisions on these jobs. And it feels like we're going to be cut out of the process and we just be given an information report, and that's what it feels like to me.
Okay.
Can I come back?
Councillor Carter?
Councillor Thomas, I think, and I'm not sure what end of the stick you're coming from. Not going to be left out of the process and making a decision, because it's not a decision for us to make. It's just the section 118, the letter to the trade unions to inform them.
Okay, are we continuing with the amendment then?
Yes.
Councillor Andrew Barry, do you have a comment, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. We just seem to have confusion about the clarity of any negotiations. It's not mentioned in the in the recommendations. We can have assurances, but it's not in there to say that the decisions and the negotiations will come back to councillors. I think we just need clarity on that element of it, really. However, am I right in thinking that whatever the negotiations are, they're going to come back in a savings budget style paper anyway?
Is that right? Who's answering?
I think if I just come in there, Madam Mayor, so I think obviously the negotiations that will be taken forward would be how to mitigate any redundancies in conjunction with obviously the affected staff and in conjunction with the unions. So I'll clarify with the head of HR, but I don't think we'd be coming back. We'd be bringing back a report in terms of where we are. But it wouldn't be coming back to council in a budget format. Let me just double check. Hannah?
Anna?
Yeah, so the process for the Section 188 is a procedural process. So we can't at the moment issue and start consultation, and that just basically means discussions with trade unions and staff around the potential risk that they're facing. So the ask really is that we're able to, with consultation with the chief exec and the leader, so that it doesn't delay our timescales, able to issue those Section 188s. During the consultation, of which we've got 45 days with the trade unions, we will be discussing with them, staff and managers, the mitigation around the redundancies. So, it is a process that we go through on a regular basis if redundancies are required. The reason why we have to issue a Section 188 is because there is possibility that there'll be over 20 redundancies. So that's the reason why we have to issue that. So before we can start that consultation, that is why we have to issue that formal letter. And that process will be, you know, trying to mitigate and stop those redundancies through a variety of means. So it wouldn't necessarily then come back to council for any approval of whether we could then continue to make people redundant. That would just be a matter through the HR process.
Councillor Salmon.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Hannah, can I just ask a question? If this delegated authority had already been there and utilised, does that mean that the council, along with the trade unions, would have already started talking to staff to try and find ways to keep them in employment and that sort of thing?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So we would have, if we didn't have to wait for the council meeting tonight, we would have started consultation about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Obviously, with redundancies, we are bound legally to have the right number of consultation days. And obviously, if staff are at risk of redundancy, they have to legally have a certain number of weeks' notice. So as we're now into December, for staff that have over 12 years service, we are really at risk of not meeting deadlines by the 31st of March.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. I think time is, it's obvious the time is of the essence here. We've got 128 members of staff that are, you know, they're going through a really tough time. I understand Councillor Geraint-Thomas's concerns and Andrew's as well, concerns that, you know, there's no oversight, there would be no oversight from local elected members. But I'm wondering if maybe if Geraint allows, you know, for Lisa's extra proposal to come in, that extra recommendation for a report to come, you know, so that all elected members are kept updated on the full process and what's happening. Is that what you meant, Lisa?
Yeah. Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. I think it was just the clarity, because obviously, you know, it was I can understand the rules and regulations around it and speeding up, but it was that clarity around it coming back, I think.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Sorry, can I just ask a really kind of simple question, because we've been going back and forth. Why, after 10 years of it being left out of the reports, is it now coming back? That's what I kind of want to understand. Why is there been that gap?
So yeah, sorry, Madam Mayor, if I just come back in there. So when we look back, as I said, when we were looking to craft the report, we looked back, and the delegation exists back in a report that was taken in 2015. But subsequently, when we've taken reports up following that on the same issue, the chief exec at the time decided, obviously with the administration at the time, to take it to council to confirm that 188 issue. All I'm saying is that in terms of custom and practice, compared to other authorities, we are the outlier. We're the only ones doing that in terms of taking a 188 issue, which is a procedural action, to full council, which obviously has an effect on our timelines for engagement with the unions. So that's why we thought we'd reaffirm that delegation, rather than just, you know, the delegation exists, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to bring it back to council to have this conversation, to reaffirm council's comfort with issuing that 188 under delegation. And then if we have the issue again, we can just get on and engage with the unions. But obviously this has resulted in a debate. But that's the background to it, councillor. So and what we were trying to sort of speed up processes going forward in terms of the benefit of the engagement.
Okay. See, Councillor Barry, got your hand up, yeah?
I get the procedural timelines. I think it's the aesthetics of, to the public, it looks as though we're delegating our responsibilities, and it gives the impression of a democratic deficit here if we just leave it as it is. We've got to find a middle ground here where the public are assured that the members are fully engaged with this, and it doesn't look like it from these recommendations. And it's just whether it's Lisa's recommendation, whether it's a combination of Geraint's and Lisa's recommendations, but we've got to find a middle ground that reassures the public that we are fully engaged.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Jones, did you want to comment?
Yeah, I should have asked a question, and I don't know. Yeah, I feel I'm looking at this, right, and perhaps I'm looking at it incorrect, Geraint, and I'm hoping you can correct me on this, right? I'm not part of a union. I've never wanted to be part of a union. So I don't know whether this is the right place to ask this. If you would issue it, if you would issue in 108 the section 188 letter to trade unions, right? Is that under the assumption that everyone involved has a trade union, or am I barking up the wrong tree? Because I just feel that I don't know whether I'm wrong.
They've got to consult with non-members as well.
So that's what I'm saying. So is that stated in that? And have I just missed it, please?
Hannah wants to go.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, sorry.
Hannah?
Yeah, so we obviously have social partnership where we work with trade unions, all throughout the year for all workforce matters. So this is just a, statutory requirement that the letter is issued to trade unions to start consultation. If you are a non-union member, you will still be partaking in the same consultation. It's just that trade unions will represent their members and give a view, but no staff member, whether a union member or not, would be treated any differently, during that consultation period. Does that answer your question, Councillor?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you ever so much.
Anna Williams-Price, please.
Thank you. Just listening to the debate and to try and find a way forward. Can I suggest an additional recommendation, which I think hopefully will meet Councillor Thomas's needs and Councillor Salmon in terms of making progress, which would be 2.6. Following the use of delegation outlined in 2.4, 2.5, a report will be presented to the next available full council.
I thought we would time constrained and ask a question.
Go following it, following.
Okay, we had all wanted a amendment. I believe Councillor Thomas and Councillor Barry went for it. However, are we considering a different approach, i.e. Councillor Mitten's comments and Councillor Anna Williams-Price? Geraint, Thomas, have we got any views on that?
I still have concerns about the process because, over 10 years, we've never brought 2.4 and 2.5. They've never even been discussed with us, right? As a leader, right? Or a cabinet, never have. And I just don't understand why they're there today, right? Other than maybe, a Labour leader and a Labour deputy leader, perhaps are welcome in the room with the trade unions and an independent wasn't, right? So I do have concerns with that, right? I really do. And perhaps I'll have a conversation offline about that and why we've never been included in the past.
Yeah, I think, politics side where people's jobs are on the line. I don't think how we going down that path.
I totally understand, Madam Mayor, and what I'm going to say is, other than, with setting council tax, this is one of the worst things we have to do as councillors, and it is that important.
Yeah.
So, for me, right, I will go with that extra recommendation, but, and we'll put it in there, that 2.6, and we'll see how we go.
Okay.
Okay.
We need to be clear. 2.4 and 2.5 stay in. Yeah.
But they are
additional
2.6 in reference to 2.4.
Okay. So, Councillor Thomas, you're removing your alternative recommendation.
Yeah, I didn't put one in really, did I? So it was just, I'm not going to take those two out. But yeah, go on.
Are you happy with that, Councillor Barry? You seconded it.
What is the wording of 2.6 again, Madam Mayor?
So Councillor Barry, it would be following use of delegation outlined in 2.4 and 2.5, a report will be presented to the next available full council.
Should do it, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So where we are now is 2.1 to 2.5 as they stand on the report with an additional 2.6.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we go to a vote
So
on that?
we've had full questions, we've had all comments.
Right.
So we'll move to the vote.
Okay, we're going to move to the vote then.
No questions or comments on these. Last time.
I think everyone is happy. I mean,
Is everybody happy to move to a vote adding the 2.6? Please.
yes.
Yeah. Councillor Barry?
I think it just needs to be accepted by the cabinet member in the first instance, because I don't think we've actually done that yet. As soon as the cabinet member wants to add that, then it's within the cabinet member's gift, and we can move forward with it then, can't we?
Okay, so cabinet member?
Councillor Allen, we'll be surprised if you read out again and
Sure. So it would be 2.6, following use of delegation outlined in 2.4 and 2.5, a report would be presented to the next available full council.
I'm happy with that. I think before we go to the votes, I just want to say that the most important thing here is 128 staff. Concerns been raised that members wouldn't have full oversight of this. I think we need to, and I think this will address it. And I hope negotiations are successful for all our staff.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll take it to the vote, please.
Okay, so that's been accepted by the cabinet member. So the recommendation is 2.1 to 2.5 with an additional 2.6. So could all councillors in agreement with officer's recommendation please raise their hands? Would you lower your hands, please? Would all councillors, any councillor not in agreement with the recommendation, please raise their hand. Okay. And any councillor wishing to abstain, please raise their hand. Okay, that's carried, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Agenda item 12, information report only, silver accreditation to the One Planet standards. Any other business, to deal with any other business or correspondence? I believe Clive Jones, you would like to.
Yes, thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. It's in relation to the untimely death of Councillor Gareth Lewis's mum. It was a shock to the family and many friends that Councillor Gareth Lewis's mother, Linda, died suddenly recently. A member of 3 choirs, she was affectionately known as Linda the Voice, a lovely lady with many friends. My wife was one of her closest. She will be very sadly missed by all who knew her. And at the same time, I'd like to pass on my condolences to Councillor Jill Preston, whose sister also passed away on the same day as the murderers. Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Agenda item 14, to receive communications from the worship the Mayor, announcements of bereavement. It is with great sadness that I inform Council of the passing of former Councillor Paul Smithers, who served the Triaris ward between 2008 and 2012. Paul contributed to dedication during his time as a councillor, and our thoughts and deepest sympathies are with his family and friends at this difficult time. I also wish to extend, on behalf of the council, our sincere condolences to Councillor Gareth Lewis on the recent loss of his mother. We offer our heartfelt support to Gareth and his family as they grieve their loss. In addition, We express our deepest sympathy to Councillor Gillian Preston, who has suffered the recent loss of both her brother and her sister. Our thoughts are with Gillian and her family at this very sad and difficult time. May we all keep our colleagues and the families of those who have passed in our thoughts and prayers. Lastly, as this is our final full council meeting of the year, may I take an opportunity to wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I hope the festive season brings you peace, rest and joy. I now declare the meeting closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam
Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Good night.